Hello friends, welcome you all to another video, and today we are going to continue with the Act 4, Scene 3. Setting is inside the court of the castle, and characters come on the stage like that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, Hamlet, Courtiers, and other lords. These are the characters which appear on the stage. The king speaks to a group of attendants, telling them of Polonius' death and his intention to send Hamlet to England. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern appear with Hamlet, who is under guard, pressed by Collidius to reveal the location of Polonius' body. Hamlet is by turns inane, coy, and clever, saying that Polonius is being eaten by worms and that the king could send a messenger to find Polonius in heaven or seek him in hell himself. Finally, Hamlet revealed that Polonius' body is under the stairs near the castle lobby, and the king dispatches his attendants to look there. The king tells Hamlet that he must leave at once for England, and Hamlet enthusiastically agrees. He exists, and Commodus sent Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to ensure that he board the ship at once. Alone with his thought, Commodus states his hope that England will obey the sealed orders he has sent with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. The orders call for Prince Hamlet to put to death. So that was the actually the plan of Commodus, that he wanted to kill Hamlet by the hands of Britishers. And here this king Act 4 Scene 3 ends. Let's move to the Act 4 Scene 4 actually. That is my mistake, typing mistake. So again the setting is seashore and the characters come on the stage like 14 bars. Prince 14 bars comes with his army at the other side of the seashore, and at this side of seashore we see Hamlet, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern uh, going to their ship. On a nearby plain in Denmark, young Prince Fortinbras marches at the head of his marching army, traveling through Denmark on the way to attack Poland. Fortinbras orders his captain to go and ask the King of Denmark for permission to travel through this land. On his way, the captain encounters Hamlet, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern on their way to the ship bound for England. The captain informed them that the Norwegian army rise to fight the Poles. Hamlet asks about the basis of the conflict, and the man tells him that the armies will fight over a little patch of land that hath in it no profit but the name. Astonished by the thought that a bloody war could be fought over something so insignificant, Hamlet marvels that human beings are able to act so violently and purposefully for so little gain. By comparison, Hamlet has a great deal to gain for seeking his own bloody revenge on Commodus, and yet he still delays and fails to act towards his purpose. Disgusted with himself for having failed to gain his revenge on Commodus, Hamlet declared that from this moment on his thought will be bloody. So let's start with the summary. Act 4 Scene 5. So actually it is inside, the setting is inside the castle, and the character comes like Gertrude, Horatio, Ophelia. These are the characters, another minor character also. So let's start with that also. So Act 4 Scene 5. Gertrude and Horatio discuss Ophelia. Gertrude does not wish to see brave girl, but Horatio says that Ophelia should be pitied, explaining that her grief has made her disordered and incoherent. Ophelia enters, adorned with flowers and singing strange songs. She seems to have gone mad. Commodus enters and hears Ophelia's raving, such as they say the owl was a breaker's daughter. He says that Ophelia's grief stemmed from her father's death, and that the people have been suspicious and disturbed by the death as well, muddled thick and unwholesome in the thoughts and whispering for good Pauline's death. He also mentioned that Latus has secretly sailed back from France. A loud noise echoes from somewhere in the castle. Collidius calls for his guards, and a gentleman enters to warn the king that Latus has come with a mob of commoners. The mob calls Latus lord according to gentlemen, and the people whisper that Latus shall be king. A furious Latus storms into the hall, fuming in his desire to avenge his father's death. Collidius attempts to smooth him by frankly acknowledging that Paulinus is dead. Gratitude nervously adds that Collidius is innocent in it. When Ophelia re-enters, obviously insane, Latus plunges again into rage. Collidius claimed that he is not responsible for Paulinus' death and said that Latus' desire for revenge is a credit to him, so long as he seek revenge upon the proper person. Collidius convinces Latus to hear his version of events, which he says will answer all his questions. Latus agrees, and Collidius seconds his desire to achieve justice in the aftermath of Paulinus' death, where the offenses led the great axe fall. Let's also finish the Act 4 also. So Act 4 Scene 6, and this is the again the another part of the castle where we can see there are two cellars and Horatio is there. Okay, so let's finish all this part of today's lecture. In another part of the castle, Horatio is introduced to a pair of sailors bearing a letter from for him from Hamlet. In the letter, Hamlet says that his ship was captured by pirates who have returned him to Denmark. He asks Horatio to escort the sailors to the king and queen, for they have messages for them as well. He also says that he has much to tell Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Horatio takes the sailors to the king and then follows them to find Hamlet, who is in the countryside near the castle. So, hey guys, here in today's lecture we have completed the Act 4, scene uh, 4, 5, and 6, and in tomorrow's lecture we are going to start with the Act 4 Scene 7 as well as Act 5 Scene 1 and Scene 2, and in this way we are going to end our this and again one more lecture we need to complete the themes and symbols of this play. So within two lecture means on Tuesday we are going to finish our syllabus of paper number 4 as well, and within 2 or 3 lectures we are also going to complete our syllabus of paper number 5. So thank you for watching. See you in the next lecture.